Hey everybody, it's Ansel again, and today we are back, and we're going to be taking a look at the Satisfaction75, but before that, let's take a quick word from our sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for your keyboard prototyping needs. From PCB fabrication to CNC milling, PCBWay has it all. Did you know that PCBWay is currently having a promotion? For just $30, you can have your PCB pre-assembled. So if you need a pre-assembled PCB, PCBWay may be the way to go. Both PCBWay, you, or a combination of both can provide the parts needed for assembly. Along with a slew of customization options, PCBWay is sure to get your PCB assembled just the way you like it. Check the description below for a link to PCBWay. Now, back to the video. So to start things off, I'd like to thank my good friend Alicia or Usakeo. Please check her out on all her socials. She let me this board for review and she did build it, so if there's anything wrong with it, it's her fault. Please go look at her and give her hate. Just kidding, don't actually do that. Show her some love. She's doing some great stuff over there. Now, getting back to the Satisfaction75, let's address one thing before we even continue. Most people don't consider the Satisfaction75 to sound as good as some other high-end keyboards. So to start things off, let's take a quick listen to how it sounds before I did some low-level mods to it. So not exactly the best sounding, but it doesn't sound bad either. It's very muted and a bit deep actually, but it lacks a bit of character, and honestly I wish it had a little bit more pop, a little more liveliness to it, and that bottom row is just a tiny bit hollow. I'd probably attribute these characteristics to the fact that the board is half plate at the moment and it's using some shorter pole stems, so not your typical meta in the keyboard game. So to combat those things, I went ahead and did the force break mod with some washi tape. Again, this is Keyboards mod, check it out if you already haven't, and I also added some polyfill to help with the hollowness a little bit, and honestly these two small mods helped a ton. Finally, I made sure to really secure the tape on the PCB there. Yes, it was tape modded, but the tape was a little bit loose, so I made sure to just really get it on there nice and good, get some good contact, and here's how the board sounds now. Okay, so a noticeable improvement. Not a huge improvement, but enough to bring it up just another tier in my opinion. So, overall, what do I think of the board? Well, the board is a bit outdated. Yes, it was from 2018, and during that time, a lot of these features were actually really amazing, and that was around the time that I got into the hobby, and to me, this was like a dream board. But I mean, these days, it just doesn't really stack up to the competition. For $500-ish, it's kind of asking for a lot. Yes, I know in regards to materials, maybe it's not that bad, and honestly, the ano is actually really nice on this, and the machining is pretty solid too. But in regards to design philosophy and execution, it's just not quite as good as some other modern boards. First of all, this huge freaking seam in the middle. It is possible to do a seam well if it's done intentionally and with a lot of deliberation. However, it just looks like an afterthought here. Again, this could be a byproduct of the fact that it was from 2018, but in 2022, this is the second revision and that could have been changed. Second, these screw holes in the bottom are ugly. Yes, I know I gave Bauer crap for having screw holes in the bottom, but at least they did it a little bit nicely. Here, they just again look like an afterthought. Next, this weight. As beautiful as it is, I think the engraving itself is also an afterthought. I know it's themed after a pirate ship, but it doesn't look like it's done that well. Something else could have been here, and honestly, the engraving is pretty hard to see even when it's in front of your face. Finally, the back. It is pretty interesting looking, but again, it just doesn't feel particularly polished. I think it could look better. I'm not exactly sure how, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it meshes well with the entire board. Also, upon opening the case, there is no daughter board. As a result, we are forced to have the USB-C cutout on the right side, and not only that, but the cutout in the case for the USB-C cable is pretty ugly. It's not even flush with the case, and in this day and age, kind of something that I would want. However, from the top, where everything really matters, the board is actually pretty dang good looking. That knob with the compass on it, beautiful, especially in gold. The exploded arrows and nav keys, also a great design choice, makes everything feel very spacious. And the OLED, we can't not talk about that. Alicia flashed it so they can have a little bongo cat. Oh my god, it's so cute and cool and almost makes it feel like the entire board is worth MSRP, even though for me personally it's not. In regards to feel, the board actually feels really nice to type on with the half plate. Of course, again, this is also preference, but with the half plate, I think it's flexible and soft enough. It's not bouncy, it's not super flexy, but it feels very nice and soft to type on, and you can still do a little bit of that flexing if you press hard enough. Again, not huge flex like other keyboards, but it feels pretty good to type on. And so with all that being said, in 2022, how does this board stand up? Well, if I'm being honest, it feels like a mid-tier board at this point. It lacks a lot of modern features that most boards have these days, and no, I'm not talking about the fact that it's top mount. It's perfectly fine. It feels super even to type on. That is totally okay. But it just feels lacking in every other department that nicer boards tend to have, and it just doesn't feel as cohesive as it could be in regards to aesthetics and design philosophy. It doesn't mean that it doesn't look very good, because it does look pretty good from the top, and doesn't mean that the novelty of the OLED screen doesn't wear off, because honestly the OLED screen is still pretty cool. However, I still like it, and I could see why it is still someone's endgame. All the things that I pointed out are honestly kind of nitpicky, and at the end of the day, if you're happy with it, that's all that really matters. And that's all I got for the video, guys. Hope I didn't seem too harsh. Honestly, it's still a really good board, but it just doesn't hold up as well as it used to. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace.